Hi Scorpio, welcome to your August 2019 relationship reading. It's Rena here. I was going to use a different deck, but I'm still going to use this Wild Unknown Tarot deck. Maybe just for your sign, I'm not sure, but it is so scorpionic to me, so I hope you will indulge me. So this is a reading intended for people who are in relationships that are challenged by something, or if you are still hung up on an ex, that might be something that comes through. I've been kind of like, every month doing love readings a little bit differently. And I don't even know if I'm going to be doing a singles reading this month, but I just thought that it would be interesting. And given the fact that we've had a Mercury retrograde during a lot of July, and I'm still in July as I record this, it can be quite illuminating. There's that devil. I think didn't I get the devil for you in my other reading? I'm not sure, but in any case, the heart of the matter is the Eight of Wands. I think this is an interesting depiction of the Eight of Wands because, the lightning bolt, so to speak. The number 8, like you're the 8th house. And 8 is a number of worldly power. It can be a number of financial power. But it's a number that, if I combine it with the wands, I think of something that is it's like a force of nature, all right? And to me, this is just my own interpretation of the Eight of Wands. It's kind of like when there's like nothing happening. I mean, life is kind of weird that way, where it's like you're going along, and then all of a sudden, there's all this movement. And the funny thing about Scorpio is you may like the going along part, and it's the movement that may throw you for a loop. For me, it's like I enjoy this idea of, feeling that energy that the wands represent. It's kind of like getting blood infusion or something, but actually a fire infusion, enthusiasm infusion. Did I say enthusiasm? Enthusiasm infusion. So what this could be is something connected to being in a relationship. Maybe there's stagnancy in your relationship. Scorpio is such I swear to God, I don't want to use the word intense because it's such a cliche. I'm looking for other words to describe Scorpio, and I keep going back to intense. But you're very extreme as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that you go all in or you're all out. So if you've been in a relationship with somebody and you're just not feeling it for some reason, either somebody else can come along. Maybe they are I was going to say fire sign, and I just said Leo, because that's I wasn't even thinking it, but that's the sign that you tend to fall for, of all the fire signs, be attracted to. Or if it's just that maybe even the other person, they start to kind of like get the ball rolling. Maybe they're the ones that say, something, we should separate. If you're married, for instance. Or we should take a breather from one another. And then what happens? All of a sudden, you want to stay with this person, even though you were already thinking that it was over. So it's just kind of funny how that works. In the past position, we have the Five of Pentacles. And this is a card. I like the illustration. I don't know if it's really, you can see that there's kind of like a negative connotation. It's a card of it's pentacles, so we think of like material things, but poverty consciousness. In translating that into a romantic situation, what we would say is somebody who may be staying with their partner because they don't think they'll get another chance. Or what if they don't get another chance? Then what will happen? And so kind of playing small because you're thinking that you better take this while you can. And that's not really a good reason to, go with somebody or stay with somebody because you don't think you can get anything better. That is something that you want to avoid. So, because then it's like a life of quiet desperation where you're just, every day is completely like uninspiring, and it might be predictable, but it's uninspiring. But what I'm trying to say is I have a feeling that you may have been just hanging on because you didn't want that change, and then the other person started to get the ball rolling. Although that could be lightning striking you with a fire sign. And then the higher message is Father of Wands. Again, we have another fire energy, and this is a spiritual message. This goes along with the King of Wands. So this may be somebody who you would respect, and this is why you're attracted to this person. Maybe the person that you're currently with, you're in your relationship, is negative, and they have a very kind of a lack consciousness, a constricted, kind of like a constricted potential for their life, and they can't see things from a broader perspective. And the King of Wands can. The King of Wands is a person who is very take charge. This is going to be a double masculine energy. So for instance, if you're a woman who had a father who was larger than life, this is the kind of man that you will be attracted to. It's not necessarily, the irony about that is not necessarily the person who you're most compatible with ultimately. You might be more compatible with a Taurus, for instance, or the other earth signs. The Five of Pentacles can be an earth sign individual. And you may just be like kind of wired to be attracted to fire signs, especially if your father was a very dynamic individual, and you're kind of looking for, that replacement for daddy, you know what I mean? He might be older than you, and he may be very virile. In other words, the opposite of a beta cock. And Scorpio, you really, if you're a woman attracted to men, you are pretty traditional in that respect. You want a he-man. You want a man who is not that is necessarily controlling you, but who you sense has personal power. And this is a double-edged sword, I feel. I'm not going to get into it too much because in the case of like Scorpios are lacking discernment, they can actually get they can attract the type of individual who may be very controlling, that you don't want in your life. But there is a positive side to the Father of Wands. Is very self-sufficient. They are not waiting around for other people to help them. So this may be the kind of person, whereas this Five of Pentacles, if this was your current partner, they may be always like, I can't do this because I don't have the money, and I can't start my own business. The Father of Wands is probably an entrepreneur, actually. But the Five of Pentacles may be in a dead-end job, and they just don't have vision for themselves. And you don't respect them because of that. Now, I'm not even saying that that's right, because you may be in the same position as the Five of Pentacles, but you're looking for inspiration. You're looking for a partner that's going to lift you up. And this kind of person, maybe it's even your boss. But with this, with the King of Wands being the spiritual message, I think it's more of getting you to see these dynamics in your life and what, what does it symbolize to you? What crosses you is the Mother of Wands. So, this is the Queen of Wands. This is a very kind of negative female drama queen energy. If you, I was going to say this, please brace for the incoming Scorpio. If you have a moon in Leo, Leo rising, or maybe Aries, moon in Aries, or I don't know, can you have Mars in Aries? I guess you might be able to. But in any case, maybe you even, is it possible you have, yeah, you could have Mars in Leo. You could have, yeah. If you have one of these placements, yeah, you can, because I've had clients that have had this. Really look at yourself, because you may have a diva type of a mentality where you are a little bit too demanding that other people satisfy you, and we can leave that open what that refers to. And really what's going on is that you're looking for that man who's going to be like your father, and a man cannot fill those shoes. And you may be, it's possible if you've had this kind of if you were daddy's little girl, you may be overly idealizing him too. Maybe he was like somebody who worked a lot and he wasn't even there for you, and you always longed for his attention. So remember that sometimes we build up these fantasies, and then the worst thing is we project them onto other people and say you're not being, who you're supposed to be, when they were never supposed to be that in the first place. So also attention seeking, not, obviously your partner should give you attention in relationships, but not being so needy of attention, okay? Because you're trying to fill up your cup based on having this past where you didn't get what you felt that you needed. That's not the job of your partner. Your partner should be giving you attention, but because they want to, not because you're, demanding them to. Also, the Mother of Wands, there could be, like, if there's any kind of a extramarital thing going on, you may see this person's wife, and probably the mother of their child, as something, wrong, competition, what have you, not realizing that they have the relationship with that person. I love those hooves. What is coming in, or the advice, is the Devil card. This is about realization of how, of what your motivations are in relationships. For instance, if the King of Wands is somebody who has money, and you're in a relationship with somebody who does not, make sure that this is not greed that is motivating you, that you're not being a gold digger. I'm sorry, not trying to throw shade on anyone. I'm bracing myself. I'm not a gold digger. I'm not this, I'm not that. This is a general reading, my friends. General. But there might be one out there, right? Maybe it's just for one person. Don't sell your soul. What gaineth a man what profiteth a man who gains the world and loses their soul? I think that entering like romantic relationships for monetary gain is such a bad thing to do, If you really just have if this person's an entrepreneur and you feel like you and he are going to make this great team, and that you have all these ideas, that's a totally different story. Some people it's like Venus and Capricorn. If you have Venus and Capricorn, you may be very like interested in love for practical reasons. That's not being a gold digger though, necessarily. But I'm talking about you have no love for this person and you're just using them. They're probably using you for you know what. And if you're beautiful, you might be great arm candy. So, I mean, it's not like each person isn't getting something out of the deal, but it's very loveless. So I think ultimately it probably will backfire. But the Devil card can also be a sexual type of an energy, okay? And it's a compulsive energy. So the Father of Wands, especially if this person is a Leo, you form a square with Leo, but you're very probably sexually drawn to them. And you may, I mean, it's like a lightning bolt with that Eight of Wands. You may just, this person may come into your life suddenly and you just can't get enough of them. But they're married and they have kids, and the Mother of Wands, you know, it could be hurting her life. But you might not care because you're getting yours. And that's kind of what the Devil represents to me in this situation. The outcome is the Father of Cups. Look at all these fathers and mothers. Well, there's different meanings for this. This could be seeing a counselor, seeing your priest or pastor, and explain the situation to them. I wonder if anybody has talked to a priest or a pastor and said, yeah, I'm having an affair with a married man who has like 3 kids. And do they go, oh, okay. Or do they like really just freak out? I don't know. Or, you know, just a secular counselor it could be. But this is, Father of Cups is a mature water sign male. Could, you know, your father, but a caring older male. Now, this could be saying that this is what you need, not the Father of Wands. That the Father of Wands is very exciting, but they may not be willing to commit. Although, if it's a Father of Wands, that person's more mature, so perhaps they've already sown their wild oats and they're ready to settle down, even though they're quite a bit older than the typical person settling down. So I can't say that for sure. You might just be seeing a counselor about the dilemma of the situation. But it might be suggesting that this is the perfect person for you. Maybe this person comes into your life. Water signs besides Scorpio are Cancer and Pisces. And again, if you are, this reading is for people who are currently in relationships. So if you're with somebody who is, you should be with somebody already. So maybe you realize that the first thing you need to do is to end that relationship to make space for this Father of Cups who may be very compassionate and a good match for you emotionally and spiritually. Okay, that's what I have for you, Scorpio. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a love reading or any other type of reading, please check me out at rainandmoonastrology.com, and the link is below. Take care. Bye.